guys, it's Marissa. So in today's video we're going to be doing like a peach inspired makeup tutorial using the Peach palette, which is by Too Faced. This is one of my very first makeup palettes that I've ever had, so it's very used. A lot of like the actual shades fell out, but just because I've had this palette for so long, I wanted to make a peach inspired makeup tutorial because this used to be one of the very first looks that I used to do. So if you're wanting to see how I did this look, then just keep on watching. So to create a base for our eye look today, we're going to be using the Covergirl concealer stick in the shade Neutralizer. I'm just going to be applying that to my eyelid and then just blending everything out using my finger. This way it's just like a sticky base for the eyeshadow to stay on. Now, because I've had this palette for so many years, a lot of the shades towards the bottom have completely just broken out of the pan just because I've dropped it quite a few times. So that's why there's not as many shades for me to choose from. But one of the shades that I'm going to be using towards that bottom pan that I have left is the shade Georgia. It's like this really pretty light pink color, so I'm just going to be applying that to my crease. And I'm just going to be applying that using an Ulta round brush. The next shade that I'm going to be dipping into using that same brush is the shade Just Peachy, and it's like this really pretty shimmery darker pink color, and I'm just going to be applying that on top of where I put that transition shade, but not completely all the way through. I'm just mainly just trying to blend those two together. The next shade I'm going to be using is from the palette Candied Peaches by Jacob and Eli, and if you're interested to get this palette, the last time I bought it was on Amazon for I want to say around $12. They might have price changed it since, but I really like this palette. I love all the colors, especially like the yellow goldish shades, which I've done looks with before. But the shade that I'm dipping into for this look is the shade Jellybean, and if you are interested in this palette, like how I said, I will leave a link in the description below, just so if you want to take a look at it. Also, I have no idea why my left eyebrow looks like this. As I'm looking back at the footage, I had no idea while filming, so I'm really sorry about that, but I definitely will fix it once I get onto my brows, so I'm sorry about that. The next shade that I'm dipping into from that palette is the shade Gumball, and I'm just going to be applying that to my crease also just to really deepen it. I'm not going to try to deepen it too much because I still really want that peachy color, but I'm using the Morphe M321 brush for this, and I'm just trying to add as much of like a peach transition as possible. The next palette we're going to be using is the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette in the shade Dust. I'm just going to be applying this using my finger and also an e.l.f. precision brush to my eyelid. I'm going to be creating a long subtle wing using the e.l.f. liquid liner, which is in the shade Jet Black. So I'm just going to be taking my time with this and try to create it to be not overly dramatic but pretty thin. And then I'm just going to be repeating that same thing to the other eye. And then I'm just going to be cleaning up a little bit using water since this isn't a waterproof eyeliner. So I'm just trying to sharpen that wing a little bit without having to use actual makeup remover. To prime my face, I'm going to be using the Pure Illuminating Lip Mist. So I'm just going to be putting that on my face and just rubbing it into my skin. That way it just creates like a tackiness to it for the concealer to stick on. And the concealer that I'm using is the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in the shade Fair Neutral. And I'm just going to be applying that to any redness or dark spots on my face. And then I'm just going to be blending everything in using the Real Techniques Beauty Complexion Sponge.
If you found the one, you should never give her up. I think it's the way life changes when in love, yeah. I surround my soul with the positivity. That's why I don't worry about the things that I don't see, yeah. These days I don't worry about much. I think we should have some more fun.
And I don't want very much coverage on my face. I want it to be pretty much lightweight. So I'm just going back in with that Covergirl cover stick again in the shade Neutralizer and just applying that to mainly my under eyes. Then I'm setting that all with the Airspun loose face powder in the shade Naturally Neutral.
I still dream about the days when we were young.
Then for blush and bronzer, I'm going to be using the shades Cherry Blossom and Walnut, and it's from like the Ulta Beauty Company, where it's like a little blush and bronzer duo. And I just got this from like the 20-piece gift set whenever you spend $20 on any kind of Ulta Beauty product.
Take a hit and still finish in one, yeah, yeah. Oh. Memory lane isn't that too far away from our hearts, yeah, yeah. The ones we keep close, we should never let go. So tell me who you love, baby.
Then to fill in my brows, I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil in the shade Neutral Brown. I'm just going to be filling in my brows with that and then just combing everything using that little spoolie on the other end of the pencil.
Take a moment to unwind, fix yourself and realign yourself with the world, baby. Breathe slow, baby, yeah. We should breathe slow, we should breathe slow, we should breathe slow. We should breathe slow, we should breathe slow, we should breathe slow. We should breathe slow.
And then using an e.l.f. concealer brush, I'm going to be taking the shades Candied, Peach, and Just Peachy from the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette, and I'm just going to be applying that to my lower lash line. Then for my inner corner and brow bone highlight, I'm going to be taking the shade Luscious from the same Sweet Peach palette using that same e.l.f. concealer brush, and then afterwards I'm going to top that off with the Kylie Jenner Pressed Illuminating Powder in the shade Ice Me Out. Before my face highlight, I'm going to be using the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. I'm just going to be setting my face with that. And then I'm going to be using that same Kylie Jenner highlighter for my face highlight. I'm just going to be applying that to the highest points of my face using an e.l.f. blending brush. And then I'm just going to be blending everything into my skin again using that same beauty blender. And I'm just going to be going over one more time with the brush also just to make sure that everything is evenly blended. For mascara, I'm going to be using the Ulta Beauty Maximum Lashes, which is the defining and lengthening mascara. I'm going to be using this and applying it to my top and lower lashes, and it's in the shade Jet Black. The last step that we're going to be moving on to is my lips, so I'm first going to be using the Revlon Kiss Balm, which is like this really nice scented lip balm. It's in the shade Fresh Strawberry, and it also smells like strawberries too, so I really recommend buying something like this just to really moisturize your lips before using any kind of matte lipstick. And then the matte lipstick that I'm using is the Pixi by Petra lipstick in the shade Pastel Petal, and then that is the completed look. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this week's video, and if you want to see more content like this from me, then I recommend for you to subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!
So then, why?